There is a running back who absolutely won the draft, who, despite being drafted highly in the second round, is coming off the board in underdog drafts as running back 28. And if you can't tell who he is from the thumbnail of this video, it's going to be Denver Broncos running back RJ Harvey, coming off to the Denver Broncos late in the second round. But second round is exactly where we want to get our successful starting running backs for fantasy football. And I'm going to break that down. But the first reason why we want to go ahead and be drafting RJ Harvey in our drafts is because he's landing in a Sean Payton offense, which is historically a very successful offense, especially for fantasy running backs. We know in the NFL draft, Sean Payton likes to target his specific players, and when he gets his hands on them, he uses them a lot and does not give the football to other players. So we can look at historically one of his other my guys, his running back, drafted in 2017 to his New Orleans Saints, was Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara, someone who needs no introduction when it comes to how successful this player is in fantasy football. Drafted in 2017, put up a wide receiver, running back 3 season as a rookie, and has been a top 16 running back every single season. It's been a running back 1, every game, every season, except for 2022. So obviously extremely successful running back there. But so maybe you want to say RJ Harvey isn't the prospect that Alvin Kamara has, but there are actually some boxes that we can look at historically, some checks boxes to tell us which running backs will be successful in fantasy football and which running backs will not be successful in fantasy football. And those check boxes are draft capital, how high are they drafted, their BMI, which is height to weight ratio, their college target share, which is, good for PPR, catching the ball, more fantasy points, and then their 40 time. You want to make sure they are faster than around a 4.6. So going through RJ Harvey's boxes, the first thing, gets drafted in the second round, which is extremely good. Love to see that. His BMI, we want to see it above 30. You can see he is a 31.2, which is absolutely amazing. A higher BMI means he can take on a 3-down workload, he can get tackled, and he's not going to get hurt. Injuries are a big problem when it comes to running backs. When we look at these second round running backs, we are going to talk about that some more. As far as college target share goes, he caught the ball enough, not as much as obviously Alvin Kamara did, but he checks all these boxes better than Alvin Kamara did, running a highly impressive 4.40, which is awesome for a guy who's over 210 pounds like RJ Harvey is. Just for fun, we got Alvin Kamara's check boxes as they were coming out of school here as well. He was drafted in the third round, coming out of the University of Tennessee. Also had a BMI north of 30. His college target percentage, very good at that 10.4%. And then he ran not as fast as a 40 time as RJ Harvey, but historically his 40 time was still fast enough to be a successful fantasy football running back. So I keep talking about how important it is that that our guy RJ Harvey here was drafted in the second round, and we can look at since 2019 our second round running backs and how they fared in fantasy football. So, starting off with Zach Charbonnet, the first, I left out Jonathan Brooks on this list because he had 1 season, so I feel like maybe it's not fair, only 1 season, as it didn't really have a ton of opportunities to be a top 24 running back. He also was coming off a torn ACL and didn't play for the first 10 games. So not a whole lot of opportunities, just left him off. We got Zach Charbonnet, has not been a top 24 running back, but he was drafted to be a backup to Kenneth Walker. Breece Hall, even though he tore his ACL as a rookie, which was the one and only season where he's had in the NFL and was not a top 24 running back, so that's a hit. Kenneth Walker, 2 out of his 3 seasons was a top 24 running back. The 1 year he wasn't was 2024, where he was injured for a lot of it and still finished as running back 27. Now, James Cook, no excuses for him, but 2 out of 3 years, still a pretty good, ratio of top 24 years to non-top 24 years. Then we have Javonte Williams. Only 1 of 4 seasons was he a top 24 running back, but had that horrible knee injury. People described it as his knee was shredded, which is a pretty terrible verb to hear about one's knee. DeAndre Swift, been in the league 5 years and has put up 5 top 24 seasons. Jonathan Taylor, again, 3 out of 5 seasons. We know he's a hit. Cam Akers, flat out bust. AJ Dillon, bust as well. And then Miles Sanders, half his seasons, he was a top 24 running back. But the years that he was expected to start and be good, it was 3 out of 5 years for him. So still pretty good. So if you were selecting these rookie running backs absolutely blindly, and even if you were someone who was some reason expecting Zach Charbonnet to be a good running back, you would get 6 out of these 10 running backs hit. You know, it should be 6 out of 9, not counting Charbonnet, but whatever. So a very, very good chance for a hit if you are selecting RJ Harvey. And I'm talking about top 24, and that matters because RJ Harvey is currently coming off the board on Underdog at running back 28, which is way too low for a guy with his prospect profile and his pedigree coming in. This guy was a ton of draft analysts' sleeper running back. As soon as he was drafted in the second round, I had to text one of my friends, the cat is out of the bag. I thought this guy was going to be a sleeper in round 3 or 4. Got drafted in round 2, so I had to draft him earlier than I was expecting, but very happy to be drafting him when he has a prospect profile like the one he has. Let's take a look at the players being drafted around our guy RJ Harvey here. We have below him, we have Jaylen Warren, who is a backup running back, so we're not going to be taking him over a starter. We have Tyrone Tracy, who just had Cam Skattebo added to his offense, and Tyrone Tracy is most likely going to be the 1B third down back receiving running back in that two-headed monster tandem. Then you have, cut off by this list, but right above Caleb Johnson at running back 24 is going to be Najee Harris, who's another backup running back. So farther down the board from some backups, you can get RJ Harvey, a guy with a great prospect profile and someone who's going to be a starting running back in what projects to be a very good offense. Last season, Bo Nix, no one expected a lot out of him, but Sean Payton turned him into a successful fantasy football quarterback. He finished top 10 in fantasy. Courtland Sutton also finishing top 18 in fantasy, a finish that no one saw coming. Now, if you don't want to draft RJ Harvey out of this group, I do think Caleb Johnson also has a pretty good analytical profile. He's a solid pick. I'm definitely taking and projecting Caleb Johnson to take over from Jaylen Warren that starting running back role. And I think he is a pretty good draft pick as he goes right here. But that is the reasons why we should be going ahead and drafting Mr. RJ Harvey. If you watch his highlights on YouTube, the dude looks pretty much just like Bucky Irving. It probably has a lot to do with his build combined with him wearing the number 7, but welcome back, Bucky Irving.